Taylor will get the try for the Saints. Lomax with a little kick through, with a chase is on. Roby goes down the short side, finds Lomax down in, looking for Percival.
Jonny, we've seen this morning that you've been taking part in a rehab session. How's the injury going at the moment?
Yeah, it's going all right. Obviously, a bit frustrating. Having broken my hand, it's kind of a bit limiting in what I can do on the field, but also away from the field. It makes it a bit more difficult doing a few tasks at home. But in general, it's one of the smaller injuries I've had. So I suppose I'll cop it, do my time, and be ready to go soon.
Yeah, you've been here before. You're not a stranger to injuries. You've had a few out throughout your career. Do you think those previous injuries have helped you cope with the current time out?
Yeah, definitely. I think it certainly prepares you. I think kind of some of them hardships definitely give you a bit more resilience. You see these. I suppose this is a much smaller rehab than what I've done in the past. You see it as more of an opportunity. Things when you're going week to week, you don't always get the chance to develop and improve. This gives you a bit of a chance to step back and work on some of them bits you might have been. Or you feel as though you can improve.
And you mentioned earlier you've got an interest in the human body, one purely from a performance perspective to make yourself a better player. And I think you undertook a physiotherapy degree.
Yeah, I started a physiotherapy degree a few years back now. I'll be honest, we speak about transition quite a lot in Francis, and I thought potentially that's where I was heading. I was going to head into a bit of a different transition, finished my career early because of injuries like we've just said, and so with that, I wanted to potentially have the opportunity to stay in and around sport, if that was to be the case. So I took up a physiotherapy degree based on the A-levels I've completed in the past to try and, see where it took me and see where I'd go from there. Thankfully, I, got back playing, got back fit, and stayed in the game. But as I got back playing and carried on playing, I could see that there was an interest there for me. As you say, in the human body, I feel as though it's helped me in terms of keeping me on the field ever since, helped me with my performance, and helped me probably even coming into the later stages of my career. In that you're getting to an older athlete, but the understanding that I have of my own body and the body in general gives me some opportunities to keep myself on the field and keep my preparation high. So in terms of the physiotherapy degree, I started it. As I said, things changed and went a bit differently in terms of getting back and touch wood, staying fit and staying on the field and staying away from some major injuries. And it kind of took off when I got back playing. So, but because of the interest I had, I was determined. Like most things, if I start it, I want to try and finish it. Determined to finish it. I've since obviously finished, due to graduate. So it's something that I've been immensely proud of. Something that's different. Something that we speak about identity with you as well. That I'm not just you. Obviously, family helps you to see that you're not just a rugby player, but also having that diploma now and that qualification. It gives me a different identity moving forward. And that's something that I'm proud of. I'm glad that I've finished it, glad that I partook in it, and I believe that it's gone hand in hand with my performances and staying on the field.
Undertaking a degree, an educational course as intense as a degree while you're a professional player, how was that? Yeah,
to be honest, at first when I was doing the rehab stages, it was quite simple really. I had a bit more time on my hands, and as I say, give me an opportunity to understand the rehab that I was undertaking. I was still not sure that I was going to get back playing. I was probably made up in my mind that I was retiring, so it was something that I was fully invested in and fully wanted to secure that qualification. It's given me a bit of a future, at 25, 26, when I was getting on the course and not really knowing where I was heading, it was quite scary. So it was something that I definitely threw myself into. Obviously, as I got back playing, it made it a bit more difficult to stay up to date, stay on track with the course. Obviously, with fixtures changing, it made it difficult. I worked on generally the course landed on a Monday and Thursday afternoons, so I'd very often missed the beginning of the Monday session, but it'd run till 7:30 at night, and similarly with the Thursday, normally I could make it after cap run. Obviously sometimes after cap runs, depending on games, it wasn't something you'd always want to do, but as I say, I was committed to it and was committed to finish. I found it pretty difficult to fit placements in, if I'm honest with you, because of the limited time that we get off in the off season and for pre-season. So that was definitely a hardship that I had on the course, something that the placements don't usually run. The only time that I was able to take them, but in general, the university at Salford was really helpful, and so was the club. Things definitely became a bit more difficult completing the course when back playing all the time and the start of the family. Things definitely became a bit more of a hardship. I think it's something that now I can understand, and you see transition obviously as a bigger obstacle, hurdle, challenge, I suppose. In some ways, an opportunity again, like I said, through injuries. You see it as all them things, but it's something that does hit you quite scary when you're getting older, and your time is a lot more limited. From starting earlier on the course without kids, I'd say that it's something that I'd definitely recommend if you have something that you're interested in or something that you like to explore. Something that I'd definitely say take it up whilst you can, before that time becomes very limited, running here, there and everywhere.
Good. So you're about to graduate, you've got the physiotherapy degree in your back pocket. Hopefully you have a few years left playing Super League. We all want you to keep playing as long as you can. Do you foresee yourself becoming a physio as a natural progression now?
Again, probably from where I started the degree to where I am now, I'm probably in a bit of a different space, if I'm honest. It's something that I'll definitely look into. Something that is good about the physio degree is it's not as specific as just sport. There's many branches that you can undertake with it, and something that's always going to be interesting, and something that, from what I've seen on the placements that I've done, something that will surprise you every day as well. So there's definitely an interest there in that. There's a couple of other avenues that I'll try and, as I say, look into, see what ignites my fire really. And I think that's something that I have realised is that when I do retire, I'd like to have a bit of a space where I can go and experience new things. I think we become so pigeonholed in the rugby, and I suppose narrow-minded that that's the be-all and end-all. Family certainly helps you realise, and other life events help you realise that there is a bigger world out there of rugby, and you can't just be hugely dependent on that for your mind or even emotionally. So I think it's something that I want to do, is make sure I've got a bit of time, a bit of space to go and experience some new things, see what really ignites my fire, and see what opportunities present from there. I think the last thing that I'd want to do is probably dive into something and think, is this really for me, and it'd be too late down the track. So something that I'd definitely like to do is, go and explore some avenues alongside the physio degree, do some voluntary stuff to see what branches I'd undertake if I went down the physio route, but also see what else is out there and take up some new experiences. Something that you're very limited in doing when you are playing the game.
It's a great outlook, and it's something we advise all players to do, to be curious and explore the world and explore your interests and your passions, because we live a life of sacrifice and denial and structure and discipline. So when the opportunity is there to do something different, something that's totally creative and outside of your comfort zone, it's a good opportunity to do that. Looking back, so you had a conversation with 16-year-old Jonny. Have you got any message for him?
You can be as prepared as you want, but it's not always going to go to plan. I think that's something that I've realised is, and along them ways there's going to be hardships, and when you're really down with them, you've got to, try and seek what positivity you can from them, and some of them opportunities that can arise. I think from some of them, my most difficult or struggling times, or even in and away from the game, I've come some of the best things that have ever happened to me. So, and now if I look back on some of the things that have happened, and now being that bit older, would have changed things. There's certainly things that I wouldn't want to experience in terms of mental or emotional or physical pain. But in the grand scheme of things, they shaped me to who I am. It led me down a good path where I'm happy with everything that I've achieved, or even, you know, biggest thing for me is my family. Where it's led me to with my family that I've got now is, you know, there's some shit times with it, but in the grand scheme of things, you know, they mould you and generally send you down a good path, and you learn an awful lot about yourself and the people around you. So I reckon it'd just be, you know, to be prepared to keep going.
Great message there about it's the journey, not the destination, and it's the journey that makes us. I know we've discussed transition and transition planning and education and careers, but finishing off now, you're still a Super League player, you're still putting the boots on, you've got a season in front of you. What are your hopes for the rest of your career?
Just keep enjoying it. I reckon, again, that's something that you realise that, you know, that you get is you kind of go through that early thing where you start young and everything's great, everything's fantastic, and, you know, you don't really, it's never seen as a job or anything like that. You know, you go through some of them hardships, or, you know, no matter when they are, they could be young, mid or late, and you go through some of them hardships and you can become a bit down in the dumps and just a bit of rubbish, and you've got to realise how good it actually is. Generally that happens when you get back playing and on the field, and, you know, very quickly, from being so grateful to just be back on the field, you know, you can lump that pressure on yourself, thinking about stuff all the time, and really the back end you kind of get to that bit where, you know what, make sure you enjoy it, because, you know, it's a dream that you've had to do, is go and play the game. It's a fantastic thing to keep taking the field with your mates, coming in training every day with a smile on your face, doing what you love. It's something that, you know, not many people are lucky to do in life across the board, that you can do your passion for a living. So I reckon the biggest thing for me is just, you know, make sure I can enjoy it, and, you know, keep fighting, keep burning, keep trying to do the right things by the club, because, again, you want to experience some of those feelings that we've had in the last few years. You want to experience them again, because there's certainly one thing, you know, that the lows of the game, as I said, are pretty shit, but the highs are pretty incredible too, and, you know, you've got to roll with the two of them. But you'll continue to chase the highs, because it's something that, you know, other than some of the family bits and getting kids coming along, you know, it's something that's very, very difficult to replicate, and something that I don't think you'll be able to chase again once you've finished.